This is the top 15 creepiest Christmas creatures that'll give you nightmares. The top 5 are terrifying. Let's check them out. What's going down, Mouse Nation? Today we're going to be checking out the top 15 creepiest Christmas creatures that'll give you nightmares. And listen, as we progress, some of these are going to be really scary, so don't watch unless you're ready to be terrified. Smash that like button, share with your friends, and of course, subscribe. We'll start with number 15, Zwarte Piet. We're gonna start off with a controversial creature of Dutch Christmas lore, whose name means Black Pete. Take a look and figure out why it's so controversial and dividing its country of origin. Yep, that's blackface. Definitely racist. Now it's important to get into why Black Pete is black. He first appeared in an 1850 book and his character was a Moorish Spaniard. Later iterations of the character tried to explain away the blackface, some saying that he was the devil or a demon, and others saying that it was soot from chimneys that he was in that permanently stained his body. He's part of the annual feast of St. Nicholas, which is celebrated on December 5th. He's portrayed as a sort of boogeyman who would punish those who had been naughty. Now the punishment depended on how naughty the person was, from receiving coal or twigs as gifts, to kidnapping the worst and most naughty people, putting them in his burlap bag, and taking them back to his home in Spain. Yikes. Number 14, the Yule Lads. These guys are known to either be mischievous pranksters or downright homicidal monsters who eat children. They're part of Icelandic folklore and there's said to be 13 of them, as if one wasn't enough. Leave your shoes by the windowsill 13 days before Christmas, and each night a Yule Lad will visit and either leave a gift or rotting potatoes, depending on your behavior that year. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds a lot better than being eaten. They're said to be the sons of Gryla, who is downright terrifying, but she's much higher up on the list, so we'll get to her later. Number 13, Trapp. This legendary monster brings fear to those in France. He was once a rich and powerful human who worshipped the devil himself. He was heartless, cruel, and only cared about his riches. When the Catholic Church found out about his evil deeds, he was excommunicated and forced into exile in a dark forest. There he planned his revenge and dedicated his life to Satan even more. He then descended into madness and began to crave human flesh. He dressed himself as a scarecrow to await his first human meal. When a young boy came along, Hans stabbed him with the pointy sharpened stick, dragging him to his home and cutting him into tiny pieces. But before he was able to take a bite of his meal, God struck him down with a lightning bolt. On Christmas, dressed as a monstrous scarecrow, he goes house to house looking for naughty children to eat. Ugh. Number 12, the Ghost of Christmas Future. This one you've all seen or heard of. The Ghost of Christmas Yet to Be is a fictional character from Charles Dickens' novel, A Christmas Carol, and it's been made into multiple forms of media. He's a dark and mysterious spirit. No face, no voice. He's a terrifying presence that represents the unknown, which humans inherently fear. I'll just say this. You definitely don't want this guy visiting you on Christmas Eve. Number 11, Perchta. Alright, my French is terrible, but this is another French urban legend, and his name means Father Whipper. This guy first showed up in 1150, and he was a butcher who had a greedy wife in a small village town. They were so greedy that they knew that 3 wealthy boys would walk home from school near their home. He and his wife lured them into his home with poison candy, slit their throats, chopped them up, and stuffed them in barrels. Enter jolly old Saint Nick, who came in to resurrect the boys and force Pere into being his eternal assistant who would punish those who were naughty. Armed with a whip and a chain, he'd dish out different punishments for different childhood crimes, one being cutting out the tongues of those who lie. Whoa, that got dark fast. Number 10, Belsnickel. This is a creepy Christmas creature who first made his way through southwestern German lore. And if you've ever watched one of my favorite TV shows, The Office, you may have seen one of the characters named Dwight dressed as Belsnickel during one of the holiday specials. He's thin and lanky, his clothing is old and tattered, he wore raggedy, dirty old furs, and he carries a switch to put fear into those naughty children out there. But he also carries candy for those who've been good. Number 9. Frau Berta. Ah yes, the witch of German and Austrian urban myths. A goddess of alpine paganism who'll rip out your organs and replace them with trash. She does her damage during the 12 days of Christmas, but if you're good, she may spare your insides. Number 8. La Befana. Another Christmas witch who may be the Italian cousin of Perchta and who's also known as Babushka in Russia. She's less monster and more human than Perchta, but that doesn't make her any less terrifying. She was once an ordinary woman who lost her child, driving her mad. Once she heard that baby Jesus was born, she went in search of him, believing him to be her child. To this day, she travels the world leaving cakes and gifts in every home where children sleep, hoping to find him. Number 7. The Grinch. Yes, we had to throw the Grinch in here because even though he's not the creepiest Christmas creature, he definitely has the look. The main character of Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas is a green-furred, mean, malicious monster with a heart 2 sizes too small and superhuman strength. After stealing Christmas and changing his mind about it, he's definitely a Christmas creature icon. Number 6. Knecht, Ruprecht. Sorry for some of these pronunciations, guys. They are not my native tongue. But he's also known as Rupert the Servant. He's a wild child who was found and raised by Saint Nicholas and accompanies him on his journey to bring gifts to children who've been good. He wears a black or brown robe with a pointed hood and walks with a limp. We got that in common, Rupert. He asks children if they can pray. If they can, he bestows them with gifts such as nuts, apples, and gingerbread. If they cannot, he hits them with a bag of ashes. He may even leave a stick in naughty children's shoes so that their parents can hit them with it. Ouch! Not cool, bro. Now we're getting into the terrifying top 5, so if you're enjoying this video, make sure that you subscribe. Number 5. JÓLAKÖTTURINN. Ah yes, JÓLAKÖTTURINN, the Christmas cat of Icelandic folklore. Who doesn't love cats, right? Wrong. He's huge, he's hungry, and he eats human flesh. Icelandic tradition dictates that those who finish their work will get brand new clothing. Lazy people who don't finish will not. So those lazy children and people who don't have new clothing are targeted by and sacrificed to the Christmas cat. Meow. Speaking of that, I better go take out the trash after this video. Number 4. Strigeli. Remember Perchta back at number 9? Well, these guys are her demonic helpers. And it's not every day where the sidekicks are more terrifying than their leader. But these guys definitely are. When they aren't eating feast offerings left by those on Christmas Eve, they're robbing and ripping apart naughty children, limb by limb. Number 3. Lwyd. Alright, it's the top 3, each one more terrifying than the last. The creepiest of the creepy Christmas creatures. Here we have Lwyd, the Christmas zombie horse. And though that sounds funny, I promise you, it's not. This skeletal beast of Welsh lore first came to be in the 1800s, and it rises from the dead every New Year's Eve, roaming neighborhoods and looking for homes to enter. Once it chooses a home, you must beat it at a battle of wits, or it'll enter your home snapping its jaws and terrifying its inhabitants. I know for sure that I will not be answering any doors on New Year's Eve. Number 2. Krampus. Now I bet you thought this guy was gonna be number 1. Everyone knows Krampus. This guy even has his own horror movie. Thought to be the anti-Santa or even his evil twin brother, he's a horned Christmas beast who's been described as half goat, half demon, and comes out during Christmas time to punish naughty children. He's hairy, has a long pointed tongue, cloven hooves, and fangs. He wears chains and bells and even has a wicker basket on his back that he uses to carry bad children to an awful place. Maybe to drown them, maybe to eat them, or maybe to hell. But even he isn't as terrifying as our number 1 spot. Number 1. Gryla. At our number 1 spot, we have Gryla. She's the mother of the Yule Lads. the owner of the Christmas cat, and she's the creepiest Christmas creature of them all. She lives in the mountains of Iceland and was first talked about in the 1100s, so she's been around a while. Not only is she terrifying to look at, but she kidnaps, cooks, and eats disobedient children. You better listen to your mama, kid. Imagine her swallowing you whole from the foot of your bed. And that's today's countdown. Which creature did you find the most terrifying? Let us know in the comments below. As always, I'm your host, Morty Mouse. I'll see you later, or I'll see you at another time.